topic of our free writing will be, because we watched something that's related to AI, right? We will be writing about, will AIs one day dominate the world? What are your thoughts on this? Okay. Again, you don't have to be thinking about unity, coherence, grammar, vocabulary. It's okay, as long as you continue writing for 5 minutes. All right? You guys ready? Yeah? All right, let me show you. Go. There we go. Done! 5 minutes. Let's start writing. Go! Don't stop writing. Your hands should be busy. Okay. So can you also count how many sentences you wrote? And also tell me if you had a topic sentence on your own. If you think you had a topic sentence, please let me know if you did, yes or no. If you didn't, you don't think you had a topic sentence, then say no. Can you write how many sentences and yes or no on the chat screen, please? Oh, okay. Ah, okay. I don't know if you just heard my children fighting. Uh, yeah, I'm trying to get these people rid out of my house by sending them off, but yeah, it's not easy. I hate this virus. Okay. Anyone else? Tell me the number of sentences and if you had a topic sentence or not. Okay. Nobody. Ah, okay. Ah, all right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm wondering right now if you wanted to write a topic sentence and that's why your sentences, the number of sentences decreased. I'm just curious because last time I asked you how many sentences you wrote and I saw as many as over 10 the last time. So I wonder if it's the topic sentence and then you wanted to stick to the topic that made fewer sentences or not. But I'm I'm happy that you guys actually tried to manage a topic sentence after learning what it is and how to write it down. You did a very good job. Okay. All right. So now we will talk about thesis statement. So let me just do this one by one, a little bit more calmer style than yesterday. Yesterday I was running out of time and I felt like I was running against the clock. So again, we talked about what a thesis statement is and where the thesis statement should be located. So it's the interpretation of a question or subject, and it's not the subject itself, and you don't end up like announcing the topic. You can't tell that that is a thesis statement. You will have to argue. So if nobody says anything, let's say if everybody has no 관심 to your thesis statement, or if nobody wants to argue your thesis statement, then maybe you're just summarizing in a very boring way. There should always be other side of the party where they think differently from your thesis statement. It doesn't have to be always argumentative, but it could also be something like, well, I have a different aspect from yours. Maybe this is not the only factor that you think this happened, or something like that. So there should be some other side of the opinion uh, from your thesis statement. Okay, so that was important here. Maybe you're summarizing, and it has to be an interpretation of your topic. And then we also talked about how it should be a single sentence near the beginning of your paper, but it's actually at the end of the first paragraph. Okay. Um, And then we talked about how you need to first to start with a question and then make your answer thesis, okay? So for example, if your question was, what are the benefits of using computers in fourth grade classroom? We said, well, there can be many benefits, but through this thesis statement, which answers the question, we can see that the writer wants to say that it's a good thing to use computers in the fourth grade classrooms. And there are, number one, technology education going on, and number two, scientific education going on. So through this, we can see how this essay will be structured. Not only that we know the stance of the author on this topic, we also know that this guy is going to arrange his structure of the essay in these two big chunks, okay? When the question goes, why do people seem to get angry at vegans, feminists, and other morally righteous subgroups? Well, the thesis statement should be the answer to this question, okay? So always remember, a question cannot be a thesis statement. And I've seen a lot of students who just use this question, why do people seem to get angry at vegans, feminists, and other morally righteous subgroups? We will find about that. And then they think they wrote a good topic sentence, or they wrote a good hook that gets them into a thesis statement, or they think this is a thesis statement. But no, the answer to this question should be a thesis statement. For example, through careful sociological study, okay, so this guy narrowed down the scope into sociology, okay? Maybe some other people wanted to focus this through psychology, maybe, or maybe they wanted to look at it from political perspective, but this guy wants to look at it in a very narrowed down a spectrum, which is sociology, okay? And then he says, we found out that people naturally assume that morally righteous people look down on them as inferior, causing anger and conflict where there generally is none. So now through this thesis statement, we can think, okay, this guy is gonna talk about how people get angry, and and they will also talk about there is no conflict as none. There's no conflict at all, okay? Okay, so do you guys have any questions so far? Are you okay? Am I going too fast? No? Are you okay? All right, so make sure you slow me down with chats, or turn your microphone on to stop me in the middle if you don't understand anything, okay? I don't want to rush things through. And as of now, because the screen is limited, I just minimize the screen where I can see your faces. So I'm not so sure if I am doing this on the right pace, okay? All right, so now let's take a look at the second step. So after you end up answering the question, you now need to tailor your thesis to the type of the paper you're writing. Now remember, we talked about how there are many different types of essays, and we've talked about how there are expository essays, argumentative, persuasive, narrative, and so on. Well, it is very less likely that you will end up with a thesis statement and a narrative essay. So you will probably be doing these three things. And as for analytical essay, actually, I put this into the part of expository essay during when I was explaining the types of essays, because it just breaks down really big concept into smaller ones. So you can just take a look at these two as in the similar subgroups, but analytical ones actually analyzes, it literally analyzes a topic to examine it in deeper perspective. So if you take a look at the example thesis statement for an analytical paper, it would be something like this: dynamic between different generations sparks much of the play's tension as age becomes a motive for the violence and unrest that rocks King Lear. So I don't know how many of you have actually read the Shakespeare's play King Lear. I didn't enjoy it when I was back in college, but it is definitely, there is something going on with like the father's generation and the daughter's generation kind of thing. So this thesis tells you this dynamic between different generations sparks much of the play's tension. So in the, probably just by looking at this sentence, we don't know what this person actually, you know, researched, or what, even if we don't know what King Lear is about, we can sort of think, okay, this guy is gonna talk about what kind of different generations spark dynamics there was. Oops. Okay. And how it sparked plays tension. Okay. And why, or how was it, how did we see that age was a motive for the violence and unrest? So we can see how this whole essay is going to be structured, or at least we know what main details we will end up seeing when you look at this thesis statement. Not only this, when you look at an expository essay, let's say you guys are writing an expository essay which explains a concept, and let's say the example thesis statement would look like the explosion of 1800s philosophies like positivism, Marxism, and Darwinism undermined and refuted Christianity to instead focus on the real tangible world. So this is so easy to expect, or to see in advance what this essay is going to look like. Maybe in body paragraph number 1, the author is going to talk about how positivism refuted Christianity. In the second paragraph, he's going to talk about Marxism, how it refuted Christianity. In the third body paragraph, he's going to explain how Darwinism undermined and refuted Christianity. Easy to see the structure, right? Not only we see the structure, but we also see how this writer wants to say there was explosion of philosophies in the 1800s, and they went against the Christianity. So maybe there can be some different perspectives. Maybe some other people want to say, well, there are different factors, or there were different cultural backgrounds that undermined and refuted Christianity. It was not just these 3 different philosophies. Or maybe there can be some other perspectives on the same idea. If there aren't, then it's just, you just end up just summarizing. Okay. Argumentative essay, of course, you have to make a claim. And the example sentence, the example thesis statement would be, without the steady hand and specific decisions of Barack Obama, America would never have recovered from the hole it entered in the early 2000s. So I don't know a lot about American politics, but just let's stay off from the politics for a moment and think about this thesis statement. How probably this guy's gonna talk about how Barack Obama, what he did to get America recovered from what happened in the early 2000s. Okay, so maybe he can talk about Barack Obama's achievement number 1, achievement number 2, achievement number 3, or maybe he can do this chronologically. Maybe he can say, well, this is what happened in the late 1990s to early 2000s, and then in the second paragraph he can talk about how Barack Obama was he became the president and then what he did. And then in the last body paragraph, he can probably talk about the major achievements of Barack Obama and how he made this through. So there can be many different ways to structure his writing, but as a whole, we can sort of get the big picture of what this essay is gonna be like. So that's what you do with your thesis statement. You first answer a question, make that answer suitable for what type of essay type you're gonna be writing, okay? And then after that, you take a specific stance and address the single idea in much more detail. And then you back it up with enough evidence, okay? So I will take I will just give you an example of how this person started developing her thesis statement. The topic was compare and contrast the reasons why the North and the South fought the Civil War. Excuse me. All right. So usually teachers don't give you very specific thesis statement. They just give you a topic, and then you will have to develop your own thesis statement. So the version 1 goes, the North and South fought the Civil War for many reasons, some of which were the same and some different. But this is too vague. You know, some people are going to be saying, you know, what reasons? How are they the same? How are they different? Too broad. So you start thinking, okay, the South believed slavery was right, and the North believed slavery was wrong. Then after that, you start thinking, hey, why? And then you start researching and then find out North, we're talking about American Civil War here, by the way. The North believed slavery was immoral, but South said, well, it's the way we sustain our way of life. Notice here that developing the thesis statement was actually it involves the process of researching. So actually, you don't start with the thesis statement and then start researching. You might end up with a good thesis statement after you finish researching. Okay, maybe during researching, you find a little bit more narrowed down thesis statement, okay? And then after that, you can revise. Just like you see a working thesis right now here. Version 2 says, after you do this research, you find out, okay, while both sides fought the Civil War over the issue of slavery, the North fought for moral reasons, while the South fought to preserve its own institutions. Some people might be thinking, oh, 이 정도면 된 거 아니야? And then we can see the structure and we see the stance of the guy. So I think it's okay. Well, maybe, but could be a little bit more specific than this. Could be narrowed down a little more. So you do more research and then you find out that both sides fought the war for moral reasons. Then this is the part where you start going, 멘붕, like mental 박살, you know, oh, moral reasons, I thought it was only for the North, but the South did it for moral reasons too, but they had different perspectives, that's for sure. So the version 3 goes, while Northerners and Southerners believed that they fought against tyranny and oppression. So this shows similarity, and probably this is going to be body paragraph number 1. Northerners focused on the oppression of the slaves, body paragraph number 2, while Southerners defended their own right to self-government, body paragraph number 3. Perfect. Now we can see how this writer is going to compare and contrast the Northerners and the Southerners, different perspectives, but similar in some ways on the stance of Civil War. So compare and contrast. The before version said the North and the South fought the Civil War for many reasons, some of which were the same and some different. So, okay, oops, all right. Some same, some different. Same was fighting against tyranny and oppression. Different, oppression of slaves versus own right to self-government. Ah, much better. Okay, let's take a look at the example of number 2, Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn. Version 1 goes, Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn is a great American novel. Well, why? What aspect? Well, version 2 goes, in Huckleberry Finn, Mark Twain develops a contrast between life on the river and life on the shore. Now, people might be, when you read this sentence, we know that this is much more narrowed down than version number 1. But we think, 아니, 무등금 on the river and 무등금 on the shore? 이게 왜 중요한데? Right? So some people might be thinking, hey, why is this important? And what is the meaning of life on the river and life on the shore? If you didn't read Huckleberry Finn, you will have no clue what this thesis statement is trying to say. But in version 3, he identifies that. Through its contrasting river and shore scenes, Twain's Huckleberry Finn suggests that to find the true expression of American democratic ideals, one must have civilized the society and go back to nature. So we can see, we don't know for sure. It doesn't give you all the answers because thesis statement is not supposed to be giving all the answers. But we can see that something, that contrasting river and shore, life on the river and life on the shore, is somehow related to the civilized society versus going back to nature. So this is how you develop your thesis statement, okay? Now, again, I don't know how many times I should emphasize this. Thesis is never a question, please. Something like, why did communism collapse in Eastern Europe? This is not an argument. And it doesn't tell you what you think about the communism collapse in Eastern Europe. So the readers are going to be saying, 그러게 말입니다. 그거 알고 싶어서 내가 네 에세이 읽고 있는 건데 그걸 나한테 물어보면 안 읽겠어요, kind of thing. Okay? A thesis is never a list. Take a look. Because I asked you guys, I told you guys that the thesis statement has these, it tells you the structure of the essay. Some people think like, okay, I have to say what's going to happen in body 1, body 2, body 3. But it's not the same as making a list. So for political, economic, social, and cultural reasons, communism collapsed in Eastern Europe. Does a good job of, giving very short pieces of information of what the reader can expect in the essay. But it's not interesting. Why? Because it's so obvious. 누가 이런 말 못해? 너무 뻔한 말. 아니 당연히 이런 걸로 망하지. Political, economic, social, cultural 이런 얘기 누가 못해? So maybe you should be a little bit more specific than this. Okay? Or maybe you want to drop some of the unnecessary or too obvious factors, and then you can dig into some fewer factors a little deeper. Okay, now let's take a look at this here. These are bad versus good thesis statements. Now, take a look at the bad version. Although the timber wolf is a timid and gentle animal, it is being systematically exterminated. And as soon as you see this sentence, people are going to be thinking, huh? 아니, 젠틀하다며. 막 겁도 많고, timid하고, 젠틀하다며. 그걸 왜 다 죽이고 있는 거임? Doesn't answer that question. Again, your thesis statement should be an answer to a question. Okay? So a better version would be, although the timber wolf is actually a timid and gentle animal, it is being systematically exterminated because people wrongfully believe it to be a fierce and cold-blooded killer. So it generally gives you a reason. And then probably in the body paragraphs, we will talk about how this misconception had developed. So maybe in body 1, there can be some examples of how people wrongfully believed timber wolves to be a bad animal. In second paragraph, it will talk about the process of being exterminated, and probably in paragraph number 3, it's going to talk about number of timber wolves that are that have decreased, from the past to now. Okay, so that's how you can structure your essay if you had a thesis statement like this. But if you had a thesis statement like this, you would be lost yourself too. You will be like, 그러게 이제 이거 다음에 뭘 써야 되는 거지? 어떡하지? 그래서 유튜브 투어 한번 돌고 이제. That can happen. Bad version. In this paper, 이거 너무 많죠? 이거 좀 하지 마. In this paper, I will discuss the relationship between fairy tales and early childhood. 무슨 왕명 공표예요? I will discuss. There's no controlling idea. What about fairy tales and what about early childhood? But take a look at the better version. Not just empty stories for kids. Fairy tales shed light on psychology of young children. So this guy is going to see this from the psychological kind of point of view of young children. Okay? But he's going to use the tools fairy tales to talk about the psychology of young children. Okay, so I can see the relationship. But I'm interested, how is this related? Right? So that's the bad versus good version. We must save the whales. Huh? Why? Because our planet's health may depend on biological diversity. We should save the whales. Maybe this guy's gonna talk about the importance of biological diversity. He's also going to talk about how whales can contribute to such biological diversity. And probably he's going to talk about what's actually happening right now in terms of diversity. Much better version. Take a look at this example here. There are advantages and disadvantages to using statistics. First of all, using statistics under what context? Secondly, what is your stance? Do you want to say that it's good or bad? Or or do you want to just say like summary of using statistics? What is this? But in the better version, it says in order to ensure accurate reporting. So this is the advantage. Journalists, he narrowed down the using statistics under journalism, must understand the real significance of the statistics they report. Much better. Much better. Okay? So these examples are combined through these 4 sources. So if you are more interested, then you can just visit these 4 links and then see how you can write a thesis statement. And that handout was uploaded on Cyber Campus, so you can download that. Do you have any questions so far? No? Okay. Now here's what you're gonna be doing. You will be put into the groups that you were in yesterday, okay? And you will work on this, one of the discussion questions that you saw, you discussed in your Westworld discussion handout, okay? Remember, there were comprehension questions and there were also discussion questions in the bottom. So among those 4 discussion questions, you will first decide which question you want to talk about or you want to write about. Okay, so that's step 1. You choose which question to write about. Number 2, work on thesis statements together. So you guys will have to come up with one thesis statement that everybody agrees on. Okay? Number 3, allocate who is going to write which part? Okay. Number 4, or actually number 3, first outline, you know, brainstorm of your ideas of what you're going to write in which paragraph, okay, on about the thesis statement. And then number 4, you decide who is going to write what part. Number 5, start writing. So one more time. Number 1, decide which discussion topic you want to write about. Number 2, work on thesis statement together. Number 3, outline and brainstorm ideas. Number 4, decide who is going to write which part. And number 5, start writing and revise, edit mistakes. There we go. Do you see that in the chat? Let me just put this in our Kakao as well, so that you can still see it when you when you leave the room. Okay. All right. So now we have. I am going to try to put you guys into your previous groups. Let me see if that works. Okay. So. Okay. Oh. Okay. 대건, 성덕 어디 갔어? 성덕, 대건, 성덕, 재헌, 태건, and yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. In the second group, I have Yuri, Minhyuk, Mire. Yuri, Minhyuk, Mire. 하영, 경빈. 하영, 경빈. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay. I will give you. I will first give you 35 minutes to work on this, but let me know if you need more time, okay? All right, you ready? Go.
대한 답과 이제 이유 같은 거 다 들어가야 되는 거죠.
What?
아, no.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. two, so you wanted to put two reasons in where?
This is statement.
Okay. So try to do this in English, all right?
Okay.
Wow, it's so quiet. Are you guys all working on Google Docs?
No, we were reading what we wrote yesterday.
Oh, okay, okay. So make sure you decide which question to focus on, all right?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, come back, guys. Okay, so here is my dilemma. I am not so sure if we can finish group peer feedback. My original plan is to switch readings from each group and then give feedback to one another. But I think we should have our Q&A session for the quiz first, and then if we have enough time, then we can do it. If we don't, then we will have to do the group peer feedback on Monday. Wow. I hate online platform. Did I mention that? All right. Okay, so before we have the quiz, do you guys have any questions regarding countable, uncountable nouns? Do you know what you don't know? Because that's usually the problem. I always tell my class that the reason I was a supuja was because I didn't know what I didn't know. So, do you guys have any questions regarding countable, uncountable nouns? No?
Professor, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Is metal uncountable or countable? I think metal is uncountable noun.
Mm-hmm.
In exercise 16,
Mm-hmm.
the question number 4.
Can you share the screen with us?
Can I have a wait a second, please? I have a paper.
Okay. Okay, you printed it out. Okay. Or maybe you can just tell us the sentence.
Okay.
Yeah. Gold and iron are metals. Do you remember when we said we use S at the end of an uncountable noun? It is not countable. But if you put S, well, then we are talking about each type. Like cakes. Then when we say let them have cakes, then that's like we don't know the amount of the cake, but all we know is that there are different kinds of cakes, like chocolate, cheese, different kinds. Okay? So same thing, like in this sentence, we know that the word metal is not countable, but we just put S at the end because we're talking about different kinds, like gold and iron. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? That was very good question. Any other questions?
Professor,
Okay.
can I use that if there is modifier?
What was that? Can I use what?
Can I use that
That.
if there is a modifier like
So are you saying like, can I have that my book? Is that what you're saying?
no I will
That few books?
like
Mm.
number 11.
Okay.
The answer, I wonder why there is the in front of engineer.
Oh, because when we say engineer, this engineer is specifically talking about John Roebling. This is the guy. What kind of guy? This is the guy who designed the Brooklyn Bridge. So this is very specific. It's not just the one random engineer. We're talking about that specific guy who designed Brooklyn Bridge. So usually, this is not always true, but usually when we have like 선행사, you know, like 관계사절 in front of the relative clauses, there's 선행사, right? Usually they are with the, because they narrow it down with the 관계사절, relative clauses.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Are you okay? No? Okay, if you don't have any questions, then do you think we can just start the quiz now? Maybe we will have time to do group peer feedback if we do that. Can we start the quiz now? Can you press like 가능 here like this? If you're okay? Okay, 가능. Okay. All right. Okay, then you know what we need to do. When we have a quiz, you have to re-log in with your mobile, right? So that I can see your monitors. Okay, so let's get that done. Okay, and then we will begin our quiz shortly as soon as I can see everybody's monitors. Okay. Taeyong, I need your screen to be, yes, there we go. Wow, you guys are good. Taehan, I want to see your screen. I am looking at some kind of whiteboard on your right. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's better. Okay. Oh, you guys are professionals now. Very good. Okay, so let me see. Quiz. Okay, so you should be able to see it now. Okay, so you may begin your quiz.
Hmm.
How many of you need more time? Okay, all right, don't worry. If you're done, you can leave and re-log in with your PCs. Minyoung, are you still on the quiz or didn't you press the submit button? Ah, okay. You're still working on it. Never mind. Okay. Welcome back, guys. So I think a majority of you did a pretty good job on the quiz. I am looking at the scores and not so bad. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna be first talking about directions for the essay assignment that we need to do, because I need to explain this before you get before the deadline comes too close. And I also am thinking about rescheduling our classes so that it's easier for both of us. Okay. Okay, so yes, as for the direction of the writing assignment, I'd like you guys to go to Cyber Campus and check out the 과제 section there, and you will see a direction written through the file that says directions for the 5-paragraph essay assignment guideline. And this one has the essay topics there too. So let me share the screen with you. Okay, so this is what you will see on Cyber Campus 과제 section. Again, you will not submit the writing until you get the feedback from your get your feedback from your peers on next Wednesday. Okay, so take a look. So the due date of the first draft is during the class time on Wednesday, and then you will revise your partner's essays. You can give some more feedback to your partners, and then you revise after class. And then after that, before the night, 11:59 p.m., you will submit your writing online on Cyber Campus. Okay. Now, what topic should you write? Well, I gave you some list of topics here, so we'll talk about this. Okay. The length is 5 paragraphs, and I'm expecting each paragraph to have around 7 to 8 sentences. Okay. Now, we've learned a lot about writing 5-paragraph essay. It has to have a thesis statement. It has to have a topic sentence. Each paragraph must have a topic sentence, right? And then each topic sentence must be well supported with details, examples, and explanation. The paragraph should have unity and coherence, but it also should have the unity and coherence as an essay as a whole, okay? You have to use logical flows that we have covered in class, like is it time flow, spatial order, logical importance order, things like that. You should also be able to use different types of sentences. Now this one, using different types of sentences, we did not cover yet. This is the lesson for next Monday. And based on the lesson next Monday, the last quiz on this part here is next Tuesday's quiz, okay? But you still have to use all of these different types of sentences in the essay. You also have to use transitions effectively. And I didn't write it here, but make sure your punctuation is correct, especially with transitions. You need to also follow the essay format, the guideline, the 1-inch margin, double spacing, indentation of the first, the beginning of each paragraph, and center aligning and things like that. Your whole essay should be edited for spelling, grammar, punctuation, capitalization mistakes before handing in. Again, I don't expect you to have perfect grammar. That's okay if your grammar is wrong here and there. It's okay. What I'm saying is please do your best to revise and make sure that you don't have any stupid mistakes, especially the ones that we covered during class. Okay? Format your writing properly. This is actually the same thing as following the essay format. Show creativity is very important. After you see the candidates of topics, you will see why creativity is important. So here you can see how you are allowed to choose between or among 3 different types of essays: expository, persuasive, or you can make it argumentative if you'd like. Okay, argumentative, or process essay. And you will see that each topic is not normal. It says, where do all the mismatched socks go? You have to explain very logically. Why does Korea suffer from increased depression? You can make it really serious, but you can also show very much creativity and make it sound very logical. Explain the causes and effects of losing games at a drinking party, like 369, and then you lose. What are the causes and what are the effects? Maybe you can give more creative ideas on this. Don't just say, well, you make mistakes because you get drunk, okay? Persuasive or argumentative essays. Number 1, candidate, why you should believe every word of an infomercial. It looks like an information, it looks like documentary kind of, but it's actually a commercial. So you should pick your favorite and you should talk about why you should believe it, okay? You can also choose to say why smoking is good for you. Notice how these 2 topics they go against the general traditional beliefs. And I said, when you write an essay like this, you have to be very careful with, or you have to be even more creative with your ideas. And you also have to expect your audience's reaction when you say something like this, right? Or you can just say, do aliens really exist? And you argue that they do or they don't. Process essay topics, how to write a paper an hour before it is due, or how to write a book report on a book that you've never read, or how to get a best part-time jobs. 꿀알바. Okay, so you can explain step by step. Any questions? 지금 캠 켜져 있는 사람들의 표정은 지금 내가 뭘 본 거지? 하는 표정이에요, 지금. 이걸 어떻게 쓰라는 거야? 막 이런. 그러니까 제가 하고 싶은 거 사실 되게 너무 틀에 박힌 에세이가 나오는 게 정말 싫어요. 예를 들어서 뭐 안락사, 뭐 그런 거 있잖아. 맨날 하는 거. 뭔지 알죠? 안락사, 뭐 낙태. 뭔지 알죠? 되게 너무 틀에 박힌 것들을 5paragraph 에세이로 내주는 경향이 너무 많아서 그렇게 하면 여러분들이 거의 생각할 겨를도 없이 그냥 아이디어를 원래 브레인스토밍 됐던 걸로 그냥 막 쓴단 말이에요. 뭐 AI 같은 것들도 요새 너무 흔한 토픽이고 그래가지고 좀 크리에이티브하게 갔으면 좋겠어요. 그러니까 전혀 전혀 익스펙트하지 못했던 그런 아이디어지만 그게 로지컬리 맞아 떨어지는 걸 보고 싶은 거예요. 그러니까 이거의 대명사가 사실 누구냐면 이건 제가 단지 제가 좋아하는 아이돌이라서 이렇게 얘기를 하는 건 아니고 신서유기에서 은지원이 하는 걸 보면 알 수 있어요. 정말 너무 말도 안 되는 말 같은데 되게 물리적으로 어딘가 맞아요. 그러니까 그 사람 되게 어이없는 게 뭐 장래 희망이 뭐예요? 뭐 인생의 목표가 뭡니까? 막 이러면 호상이요. 막 이런 사람이에요. 근데 그런 뭔가 되게 어이없지만 사실 그 안에 이렇게 로직이 있거든요. 호상이 진짜 좋은 거긴 하잖아. well-being만큼 중요한 게 well-dying이잖아요. 근데 그런 이제 느낌 그런 거죠. 그러니까 되게 다양한 생각을 여러분들이 좀 머리를 말랑말랑한 이 나이에 다양한 생각을 했으면 좋겠고 그래서 사실은 제가 지금까지 이 토픽을 내오면서 진짜 레전드로 하나 누가 낸 게 있어요. 그래서 그거를 제가 샘플로 사이버 캠퍼스에 올려드릴 텐데 mismatched socks가 어디로 가느냐는 거에 대한 expository 에세이를 너무 완벽하게 썼어요. 근데 굉장히 크리에이티브해요. 막 알고 보면 세탁기 안에 웜홀이 있다는 거야. 그래서 그 안으로 이렇게 빨려 들어가는 다시는 찾을 수가 없는데 뭐 거기 그 웜홀은 우리의 시공간과 이게 다르기 때문에 어쩔 수 없대. 뭐 그렇대요. 그런 아이디어들은 되게 어이가 없는데 근데 로지컬 플로우는 완벽해. 무슨 얘기인지 이해돼요? 그래서 이게 흔하지 않은 방식이지만 어쨌든 흔한 로지컬 플로우는 그대로 갔으면 좋겠는 그리고 그걸 쓰면서 여러분들이 지금까지 배웠던 모든 것들을 다 한번 활용을 했으면 좋겠는 저의 마음인 거죠. 뭐 이거를 센텐스 타입도 다양하게 해보고 스트럭처도 그렇고 thesis statement도 우리가 어떻게 써야 된다는 거 배웠으니까 여러 가지 이제 그런 것들을 다 한꺼번에 얘기를 해서 이제 그걸 다 적용을 해가지고 이제 에세이를 만드는 거죠. Okay? Alright? So I think I've said what I wanted to say. We have like 10 minutes left and I don't think we have enough time to do group writing feedback. So I'll let you go now and we will have we will start by doing group peer feedback on next Monday, and we will also cover sentence types, different types of sentences, so that you can have a quiz after that on that. All right? So I'll see you guys on next Monday. Have a great weekend and stay safe from the virus. Bye!